Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Khairul Amirin bin Razri and I'm from 3 Bmkf. So, the purpose of this video is to explain about the case study project for subject Bmkf 3263 risk assessment. So, let's move to the introduction. H is an engineering consultancy that is founded in 2007 by our CEO, Datuk Khairil Adnan. So, the company is specialized in product development, system integration, and automation. Currently, DreamH have 6 branches across the world, with 2 of them being in Cyberjaya. The HQ is located at iTech Tower Cyberjaya and the prototyping center is located at Autoville Cyberjaya too. Since DreamH is an engineering consultancy, so it makes sense for them to involve in a whole project by themselves. For example, DreamH also designing the mechanical parts and then they fabricated it. So for this project, I can get a lot of risk assessment based on the project they are involved with. So let's see the method I can gather to get the information. Let's move on. So to gain the information about the risk and the severity, I use a few methods. One of them is by observation. To observe this, I will have to site visit the nearest branches near me, which is Autoville and HQ at iTech Tower. I am located at iTech Tower, so I decided to see what risk is there. So the next step for me to gather the information is by sending surveys on site. So let's take an example. I go to the fabrication center which located at Bukit Jalil. I will hand out the survey links to the staff and they will answer the question accordingly. And for the next step is the next step for me to gather the information is by interviewing the staff. So I have decided to do an interview with a few staff from the HQ, from the prototyping center and the fabrication center. From the interview, I will gain the information I can put in my case study reports. So let's move to the next part. So for this part is risk evaluation and analysis. In this part, I will create a risk matrix chart based on the likelihood and severity from the hazard I have been listed. After the likelihood and severity of a hazard is calculated, it will give a scoring depends on the result. So let's say a hazard likelihood is very minimal and the severity is very high, it will give a low score because of its likelihood is low. If the likelihood is high, let's say the hazard is potentially dangerous and always happening, it will give a high score. The highest score for this risk matrix chart is 25 and the lowest one is 1. So after I completed the risk matrix chart, in the next step, I will categorize it accordingly. So in this part, I will put the rating based on the risk matrix chart on the table. As you can see here, the first hazard have been listed is exposed to extreme brightness and the rating for this is 5. This is because the likelihood for this hazard to happen is only once, while the severity is high. However, since it's likely to happen, I will only give a 5 rating as it's not happen regularly. However, there is a control measure need to be taken by the company. So one of the solution for this is by installing anti-glare screens to provide proper lighting for the employees that have been working here. As you can see here, sitting for too long have a low severity. It means it doesn't give a lot of injuries for the employees. However, since the likelihood for this to happen is high, So that's why I decided to give a 10 rating based on the risk matrix chart that I have calculated. So to improve this, HR can provide an ergonomic chair or by implementing regular breaks for every 2 or 3 hours to reduce this risk likely to happen again. So let's move to the next part. For this case study, I have decided that all suggestion and improvement will be taken into full responsibility by its own department. For example, engineering division will take full responsibility on reducing the risk and hazard that have been facing by the employees. For example, while designing in the office, by sitting too long will get the employees to feeling numb or fatigued. So, engineering division will conduct a meeting on to how to improve from the problem to happen again. This is the risk assessment form that have been used to identify all the risks and hazard in the company. So with this form, we can know the severity level of an risk. For example, let's say the job scope is to be an RE engineer. So being an RE engineer, the potential hazard is by exposed for the UV light for too long, and the likelihood for that to happen is 5. So by having this form, we can identify the severity level and an improvement can be made easily. So to conclude the presentation, DreamEdge is a company that have various of tasks and activity. So by analyzing the likelihood and the severity of the hazard, DreamEdge have to take a control measure to minimize the risk from happening or getting worse. Addressing these current issues and implementing a safety measures like ergonomic setup, ventilation improvement, and training, it will ensure a safer workplace for the employees. Not only that, it will protect the employees and enhance their productivity while conducting their daily tasks. So that's all from me. Thank you.